Okay. I think we're all set up. Hello, and welcome to Plugin Along, a stream dedicated to LOTRO plugins. Last time on Plugin Along, we were working on Festival Buddy 2. We're going to pause on that today, though, because it is the last treasure hunt of the year, which isn't saying much. We usually only get like 2 of these. Anyway, today we're going to try to finish off our rich map changes and whatever else comes to mind. There were a couple of thoughts over on Little Redhead's stream. So as always, feel free to jump into chat with your thoughts and questions. But in the meantime, let's get started. So, what is going on? Little Redhead was showing off the rich plugin, and we're going to be doing some of the changes. So, Skagosi is still in chat. Hello there. Okay, so we are going to be using this new map feature. So, apologies to Extra Life, but I think I'm going to hide you. Is that enough space for the map? Almost. Okay, we're just going to move some stuff around here. Rich is going to live over here, and the map's going to live over there. That's great. Okay, so we have a map. This is a map of approximately, as far as I can tell, all of the distinct locations for dig sites, and they are centered inside of them. This is also meant to be responding to the /LOC messages, and I was just going to go ahead and double check that I did not break that by importing some of the Festival Buddy changes. Now, /LOC spits out you are on whatever server number, whatever, at R, LX, LY, OX, OY, OZ, H, optional H, game timestamp. And we can use that to get a sense of where you are on the map. We can just show your cursor and show your heading. But you have to hit /LOC, or in this case, I've bound it to a shortcut, so I can just click it repeatedly in order to get those results. So what I was just doing here is double checking that what we are doing here is going to be found dig site examples. Actually, it's going to be what we call it, treasure hunt lowlands examples. So these are the only ones we actually need to care about, but it's fine to have the other ones as well. So we can see treasure server whatever RX, LX, LY, OX, OY, OZ, H with no I value. That's totally fine. We don't need the I value. We don't want it. We just need to account for it. Okay, great. So these are going to be good, and that's going to make the /LOC definitely work on German and French as well. Tellurian's in chat. And the most annoying question, does it work in German? Yes, that's one of the reasons I wanted to pull these changes over from Festival Buddy, is we just went through making sure that the /LOC works for Festival Buddy. I want to make sure it does over here. Again, fixing my overbroad messages from before. So this should work in German, except there was something else that I just forgot about. Thank you for reminding me. Let me go pull that up. So in, what was that? That was Cube Plugins Festival Buddy 2. That was going to be the the maze map win, I think. Yeah. So what we wanted to do is pull in a couple of those generalized functions for detecting if this is a Euro format parsing or not. And so for that, do we have a general functions? We do have a general functions. Great. So we're going to come on down to the bottom of the general functions. And this is just going to be function to handle parsing a string into a number correctly based on the locale. And we're going to go ahead and copy that comment on back to Festival Buddy, because I think it's good to comment these things. Yes, Tillerian says pickaxes are not recognized in rich in German since they changed the translation. Simple fix, just get them to change it back. No, I'm kidding. We're gonna fix that in Festival Buddy here as well. Sorry, in rich here as well. Okay, so now we have a Euro normalized function. So what we want to do is use that function over in the maze map window. In these places, we want to go ahead and just say, hey, we have something that came in from parsing a string. Let's make sure if it's got any decimal values that we are going to see that correctly. Okay, great. What was toNum? Okay, the toNum actually might have worked okay. Interesting. I think what we've done is a little bit nicer in that we just check one time what should it be for this launch of the client. But do we need this anymore with Euro normalize question mark? Or could it be the same? Cool, okay. So that was the thing that I wanted to make sure we got because the /LOC working in German is always nice. Tellurian says some stuff that nagged them. They tweaked their rich. The length of the round might be longer than intended if you leave the digging site, for instance, doing an instance. Yeah, in that case, I just unload the rich plugin if I'm leaving the area so it doesn't just take a forever round. That being said, my statistics suggest that my longest round is an hour. I'm pretty sure. I've seen longer rounds over time, so I'm guessing that just caps out at an hour. Longest round. Let's find out. Well, I don't see anything in here that obviously caps it to 1 hour, and yet. Round length equals get local time minus event start. That is, in theory, going to give longer than an hour. I don't understand why it is specifically looking like that then. Maybe it's rounding the output. Maybe... Oh, that's funny. It's 1 hour, and we don't know how many minutes. Okay, so it would have to get to 2 hours before it showed more than that. Hey, maybe we could do something about that. Yeah, let's go to the stat labels and figure out where that's used. Well, this is a place that could be an hour. Okay. No, it looks like it's supposed to be updated. Okay. So the hours, minutes, second. What do we have? Format time. All right. What do we got? If temp minutes is greater than 60, then the temp hour equals that, and the temp min equals that. Oh, that's fun. Tellurian says they inserted some code to call the current round invalid if you don't have the digging size, the digging buff on you. Digging site buff, which is the hidden valuables, maybe? Buried treasure field. So if you don't have the buried treasure field effect on you, then that would cancel. I like that. That's nice. Feel free to send that to me if you want, and I'll try to roll that in. Actually, let's figure out where we're calling this. longest round. Okay. If I equals 3, then turbine shell right line, format time, and we'll go ahead and call out cool. So we're just going to go ahead and load that back in. And we can see format time we're being called with 306,788. Do we believe it? $85 hours. Oh, that's the total time. Oh, that's funny. I said 3. I should have said 2. Okay, format time 3,601 hour. Okay, we are definitely getting compressed here, and that's fine, but I don't understand why. If I equals 1, then all character stat equals that. Okay. And stats for this one equals that. I guess I don't really care about this too much, but it definitely looks like it's being squished in some way that maybe is not intentional. And again, that's only for the shortest round. That's fascinating. Okay, I guess backup question, what does it look like in the save file? And then I will be done with this. Okay, just going to Lord of the Rings Online, plugin data, account, server, character, actually, probably server all characters. Rich stats. All right, let's get this over here. Okay, longest round. We can see longest round. Let's go ahead and just add 30 seconds just to be, curious. You know what, let's add 90 seconds. Okay, so that's possible. So that would suggest either the unlikeliness that I hit it exactly or something squelched that during the saving of it. Okay, I'm just going to make a note of that somewhere, but I guess I don't care too much about that. Okay. What's up with longest round maxing out at 3,600? Question mark. Okay, that's for later. Delian says, I did that change around 2 treasure rounds ago, so I do need to find it again. No worries. If you wanted to, feel free to just zip up your whole rich directory and send it to me over on Discord, and I can figure out which parts are different. I just use a file comparison tool. Okay, so we are done being distracted, maybe. With that, what we want to do is show off how this map is supposed to work. Where am I? Okay. Show off how this map is supposed to work, and then see, is it doing what we want it to? And where is my rich window? Why is it not loading? Okay, format time, I guess I didn't say that correctly. Let's go ahead and come on in. Okay. There we go. While I'm coding here, I'm going to go ahead and use these quests to fill up on pickaxes because testing a buried treasure plugin does burn through a lot of those. Okay, we've got 3 out of 5 so far, and I see number 5 up on the hill. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this as if the round had just started. It's possible. It's been going for a while. It's hard to say. But what we can do in this map is we can manually click off any dig site that is missing. And if the dig sites are there, we can go ahead and treat it like normal. So let's go ahead and get out on the field. So what I'd like to do is I'd like to position this ring so it's over as many dig sites as possible. The one I've found on the map, assuming this ring is the correct size, and it's always up for debate, is around here, and that covers these 8 spots. So we're going to go ahead and mark, deploy the cave claw, and then tell the plugin we just did it at our last LO sleeve. Then we're going to go ahead and follow it. It's a large one, so we know everything here is large or less. And we can go ahead and manually click that one off. So assuming everything went right with the cave claw, we know that we don't need to look here anymore if we're looking for the huge chest. If we're looking for large, there might be another one. Now, what I was doing while Little Redhead was streaming was I was drawing up a map of sort of some optimal cave claw locations. Obviously that one in the center, 8's the biggest one that I could find. But the one down the hill just from there, you can cover 7 of them. So let's go over there. 2, 4, something like that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Awesome. So we're going to deploy a cave claw here. Brilliant, thank you very much. I see that you have sent the files. All right, we see that that's a large one. So we know if all goes well, the huge one is probably not there. All right, well, what's our next favorite one? I'm going to minimize this. We can see down here in the southwest, there's another cluster of 7 that's good. Now, the time it takes to go between these might make this a less desirable route if you are on a more populated server, but Treebeard's a little quiet today, so what do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8, depending on how accurate this circle is. So we'll give it a shot. Let's deploy this. Fantastic. It's a medium. We can go ahead and rule out all of those. Oh yes, and I do like clicking away ones that I know are not available to be dug at all. In fact, where was this one? Was it this one? It was this one. All right. So where else do we want to go? Well, if I look at my handy dandy reference, that was all of the really nice ones. There's some other good ones here, a couple that you can easily get 6s on. So let's go ahead and play around with that. Let's see. Yeah. Oops. Okay, so in theory, that is those 6 right there. So we'll go ahead and launch this cave claw. That's a medium. Great. We'll mark those. And banish the one that we just got. Now this is nice confirmation. We can see that that one was kind of right on the edge of this ring. So we know that our cave claw ring is probably it doesn't need to be any smaller, probably. It might need to be larger to be complete accurate, but I'd rather be a little bit conservative in my guessing of what the cave claw covers so that it maybe covers more than we expected rather than less. Okay. So, like, for instance, right now, if we weren't quite certain on the circle size, then maybe we'd think we were getting all 6 of these, and in fact, we're really only getting like 4 of them because so many are on the edge. So I'd rather the actual circle be a little bit larger. We're going to go ahead and deploy this cave claw right here, though. And follow this cave claw. All right, that's medium, so I'm going to mark all of those as medium. And again, mark that one off. Okay, so the whole purpose of this is, try to optimize what you're digging up, but also, try to make sure that if there's a longer round, you don't forget where you've been, and you have a good sense of where the treasure is likely to be. In short rounds, it doesn't really matter so much. If the rounds on your server are lasting like a couple of minutes, then this is a little overkill, sure. But if the rounds on your server last 10 or 20 minutes because people just aren't finding the thing, and that can be for a number of reasons, either lower population on your server or in your layer, or people are using dowsing rods and cave claws, but they're not digging things up. So there's a lot of small sites that could be dug up, but people are not doing that. Let's see, can I get both of those? No, I'm just not going to worry about it. Okay, so we'll go ahead and deploy that cave claw. So that can be a reason to dig sites up, even if you know that they're small. If you have an abundance of picks and the round just isn't clearing, the fewer sites there are, the more likely someone's going to stumble upon the huge one at some point. And if you get to the point where you're like, I don't actually care if I get it, I just want this round to reset, then that can be a reason to be clearing out those smalls. Okay. We're going to try getting all 6 of those. We'll see what happens. That's a huge dig site. And we can see, again, that one's just on the rim of what we thought was the cave claw region right there. Okay, so one thing to note, if you use a cave claw on a site, if you use another cave claw right away, it's not going to include that site in its thinking process. Note that this cave claw just ran away to something else and said it found a small dig site, even though we know I am literally standing next to the huge dig site on this layer on Treebeard. And so just be aware, double-clicking cave claws, it's not going to reconfirm what you've detected. It's going to exclude that from its consideration, and it'll tell you the next best thing after that one. And that's actually useful if you're in an area with a large, you might want to go ahead and just send it out again because you're in that perfect spot. You're covering so many dig sites. That one's a large, and okay, the next best one is a small. Cool, I'm done with this area. I'm going to go ahead and pick that up though. Cool. I'm really interested in getting the cave claw steed that comes out of the huge treasure chest. I have dug up 121 huge chests on this character, and none of them have contained the cave claw, and it's been very sad. So maybe we'll get it today. Okay, so when the map notices that the round resets, it's going to go ahead and wipe all of that detection. All the circles come back, they're active again. You're ready to do this all again. Cool. So that's how this is supposed to work. So far in testing, it seems like maybe the cave claw can go a little bit outside that range. Like I said, I've had it run to something that is off of my map, but testing in general suggests that I have the right size. So I don't know what's up with that. I think there might be some randomness in what the cave claw's behavior. Maybe it is 20 or more meters. I don't know. Same thing. I have been standing here on this little corner. I like it because it's very recognizable. It's very easy to come back to. And I've had a cave claw go out to that dig site. That dig site is 28 meters away. It should not be possible for a 20-meter cave claw to find that dig site, even if its position relative to your body matters, and I don't think it does. So I'm not sure what's up with that. Maybe you get a super cave claw once in a while that has extra range, but we don't have a way to know that that's true. And for all of those regular cave claws, we have to have a smaller radius. Okay, so what are some things that we're going to be working on? We're going to move this map button onto, into a better place here. This reset button, I think, is still useful to have, but we're going to go ahead and throw it into either the options window, which there isn't one, or probably onto the map. For those people who don't have a button for /LOC, I'd love to get one over onto the window. So we can do /LOC and deploy Cave Claw maybe on one line, and then the results, maybe add a label for that, and small, medium, and large on the other. There's no result for huge because kind of definitionally, if you're picking that huge up, the round's going to reset anyway, and we're not saving this information. So just pick up your gotten gains, and it'll be great. Okay, also, it was requested, and I think this is a great idea, to go ahead and take advantage of... Oh, that is a Festival Buddy thing. In Festival Buddy, we have separators for our barter window, and it would be neat to go ahead and include that capability here, so that we can have these three under a Sigter, and then the rest of these under Maris, and then actually separate them out by their categories here. So what does that look like? Let's go ahead and use Plugin Compendium to install Festival Buddy 2. And we're done with that. And in Festival Buddy 2, we can see in the barter window, oh, I guess I forgot to update Harvest Math that way. Let's go to Farmer's Fair. We can see in Farmer's Fair, we can see the person you buy it from, and then the category over and over. Category, category, category. So let's take a look at that. Festival Buddy 2. That's going to be in the barter win. And in the barter items, we can take a look at that, and we can see we're looking for divider 1. So let's come on in here, and we're going to assume there's some duplication of code in Galahad's Rich with Festival Buddy. So let's come on into barter win, and come on into refresh barter list, and take a look at that. In fact, I'm going to maybe put them more side to side here. Let's put the Festival Buddy on the left, since that's what we're pulling from. Okay, so we can see perhaps, yep, for an iPairs, do this. So we have this section that we could bring on in, kind of naively hoping it works. Else, local row back, and end. And then we'll go ahead and indent all of that by 1. Okay, so naively, if that works, it should work kind of out of the box. Let's go ahead and unload and then reload Rich. And in the barter window, nothing should change because we don't have any dividers. But now we can go ahead and start adding dividers. Now I am a little curious. Am I using spreadsheets? I am using spreadsheets. Hard to beat a good spreadsheet. So why am I possibly terrible person in using Excel to generate Lua codes, because when we look at the, in fact, we might be done with that. When we look at the barter.lua, the indices here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on, these are important. And if you screw any of them up, and for instance, if you're missing 13, if you had oops 113, the iPairs function will just stop working. It'll go through number 12 and then it will stop. Are we using iPairs? Yeah, we are. So if that was actually number 113, oopsie. Let's come on in here. We'll unload, reload Rich, go into the barter window, and we can see there's just 13 items. We stop at the jeweler's helm, and the iPairs just stop. So getting these indices right is really important. But it means that if you want to insert something, for instance, one of these dividers, I want to insert that here. Okay, the new one is going to be this, a divider. Every index after that is wrong. I call it index. Every key after that is wrong. It should be increased by 1. This is something a spreadsheet can do very easily. There might be some extension type things in Visual Studio Code that allows you to fix the indices here. Yeah, but there's no quick fix being listed here. So this is the kind of thing where I could definitely see coming on into something like Sublime Text and doing some multi-editing thing. Let's see what that would look like. So if we come on in here and we find every instance of tab open bracket, and we go ahead and grab its thing, come on down one line and insert it. Oh, that didn't work. What if we got rid of all these blank lines first, and then came on down, and then did the multi-select, grab everything, come on down one, and insert it. That's actually not too bad. And then, actually, I might have to go up. Sorry. So that's doable. Might do that in this case if it works out okay. So what we want is, for the barter items, we are looking for a divider. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to go ahead and say 1 equals divider 1. And in fact, we're just going to comment out this line for a minute. And then 2 equals, and then in English, equals, and we're going to call it whatever this person's name is. Sigter. I wave at Sigter, I come on in, and we go ahead and paste that in. And that way we get the I with the accent on it. So what does that look like if we reload? Let's find out. We get an error message. Attempt to call global getString. Oh, hey, we don't have a getString function. Fantastic. Let's see what we actually do. Where is a good thing? Let's go to our strings. Sure, stat labels. Just settings.language. Wow. That's working without a net right there. Let's come on in to strings, get string. We'll pull that in. This function, what we've seen in the past, it takes in the table like 0 here, stat head 0. The language that we're looking for, it tries, it makes sure that this thing is a table. If it's not a table, that was weird. If the table is nil, that's weird. And then otherwise, if the language is missing, we go ahead and populate it with whatever Yeah, settings.language, great. So so it's optional to pass in language, but if you don't, then you're just going to get the default one. So that's good behavior. Otherwise, you can force it to be a different language if you want. And then if the entry for the language that we're looking for exists, then we use it. Otherwise, fall back to English because the developer is English, so that one's probably going to be there. And finally, couldn't find it all, just return a blank. So that's a more straightforward, no, as a more cautious way to find these strings. And it lets you populate just an English string and then fill in the other ones later instead of having to duplicate the English version for French and German, even though they haven't been localized. So it's a lot easier to find the ones that need to be localized. At least I think so. Okay, so we can see Sigtier here has these items. We could even come in and see, oh, there's no category. Okay, so I'm not going to worry about that. So let's take a look and see, what do we feel like it would look like to do what we were talking about before. First of all, it's very handy if all of your numbers had the same number of digits. So what we're going to do is come down here, get rid of all of those separators. I was just realizing there's a patch out there that I've gotten for the barter window, and I am not entirely sure that exists here. So let me find that a sec. All right, 1211, awesome. So get rid of festival buddy there. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take all of these. I'm just going to practice doing this, as just playing around with it. And we know that 2 needs to move up to where 1 is. So we're going to go ahead and select everything, go up 1 and paste, and then we just need to fill in a number at the bottom. No, needs that. So we can paste that on in here, and ideally, if our multi-edit has not butchered anything, we can see Dowsing Gem, Trained Cave Claw, Map to the Treasure Field are all there. Fantastic. Let's get a new one. Modest. Okay. So this is going to be 05 equals same basic thing. And we're going to go get rid of that. So we're going to go ahead and copy this over. But this is Mars instead of Sigtier. And same basic thing. But before we do a change, let's come on in here and say, okay, we want this to be medium cash rewards, but this is going to be a divider 2. So this is going to be divider 2. And in the English, that is medium cash rewards. And then we can go ahead and do that same trick over here. And for something like Rich, it only has so many edits to make. This is maybe a little bit easier than setting up a Excel spreadsheet for now. But one could easily see where this starts getting a little bit cumbersome. Actually, I gotta say, maybe I did set up a spreadsheet, now that I think about it. Well, not visibly. That must have been pre-spreadsheet days, if you can believe it. Well, no. That must have been pre-spreadsheet for this purpose days. Okay, so we have medium cash rewards. And these rewards, let's go ahead and get rid of that and squeeze that down so we can have both of these visible at the same time. These go through domesticated cave claw. All right, so we only need a single divider now. And I guess we could double check here. Wooden cave claw mask, treasure chest, dig site, gold panning, douse, treasure hunter satchel, and domesticated cave claw. Fantastic. Let's go to large. And that's going to be large cash rewards, number 14. And that's treasure hunter, treasure driller, 300 motes of enchantment, interesting, and gem inspection. Okay, same thing. One could encode this in a macro if one knew how to do that. And we just pop that in there. Let's double check our work. Coming on in here into the barter window, we can see sig tier, and maybe Little Redhead can look at this and see how it conforms to their desire. Oh, nice. I'm hearing approval. Excellent.
Which one up? Yeah.
Okay, and then we get to the ones I haven't done yet. So. Yeah, so medium, large, awesome. So we can double check. We did double check. We've got all 4 of those. So we're going to go ahead and, in fact, yep, we're going to be copying this again because I'm guessing we've got a huge cash rewards coming up. Huge cash rewards. That's going to be 19. So do it all over again. So in case you are getting up and going with something like Sublime Text, but you don't know, I'm just going to echo my keystrokes here as best as I can, so you can follow along at home. But whenever I try to do this, I kind of mess up my muscle memory, so fingers crossed. So we're just going to select the thing that we are looking for. In this case, we're looking for a tab character followed by a left bracket, because in this file, this is the only, this is how every line starts. If we wanted to do something a little bit different, we could just select every line and then play around with the cursor a little bit. You know, it might be a little messy. So instead, what we do, we know that every line starts with a tab open bracket. So we go ahead and press Alt F3. What does that correspond to menu-wise? I don't know. Selection, not sure. Quick find all, apparently. So, quick find all. Now we're in a multi-edit mode. You can see that because of all the cursors that have appeared. And at that point, we can go ahead and using the left and right arrow keys, I'm going to go ahead and clear that selection. Hold down Shift, right to select this number. Control X to cut, move up, Control V to paste, and that's it. All the numbers have moved. We can go ahead and swap in. If we had created the new entry, that could have been, oops, something to do, but right now we're focusing on the basics. Okay, that's to the huge. We have the Trained Cave Claw, the Golden Cave Claw Mask, Rich, Harvest Brew, Unearthed Sack. Okay. Tome of the Treasure Seeking, Tan Back, Green Back, Pink, Black Beak. Oh, I said green back. Green beak. Green back. And that is it. So, after that, pets and decorations. Tome of the White Chicken. So we're on 31 here. This is going to be pets and decorations imported ... What do we suppose that means? Imported Hobnanigans goods. I see that on the next line. Okay. Do it all over again. So make sure there's a fresh line at the beginning to hold 31. If one wanted, Yeah, okay. Alt F3 selects all of those. Holding shift as we go right, well, go right once to clear the selection, hold shift, go right again to select those, Control X, Control V, and we are good. 72. Okay. So, this is Tome of the White Chicken, Tome of the Red Chicken, Dorking Scrapper, Blackfoot, Orange Wyandotte, Standing Streamer, Wagon, misspelled in the comment, Yellow Hobbit Wagon, Red Hobbit Wagon, Green, Blue, and Broken. You gotta pay extra for the broken one. No, you pay less. It's 1/3 of the cost. Okay, so that is all of that. We're going to go into recipes. So that's going to be number 45, and that's going to be recipes, imported Hobnanigans goods. Same idea. That's not how to do that. So, if you get into a state where you selected the wrong thing, it's totally fine. You can press escape to clear the multi-select. Escaping extra times doesn't hurt. So we can see I've just bopped escape a couple of times there. But if you do a multi-select and you press escape, Sublime Text thinks, oh, okay, we're done with multi-select. We'll go back to the first of the multi-selections. At least I think that's the outcome. Let's do this. Yep, it finds the first of the multi-select selections. That's your one and only selection. So totally fine. If you mess up, you can undo. All right, that's going to be 73. Get these back in here. They're using tabs instead of spaces here. Not a fan, but that's a problem for a different day. Oliphant, roasted, chicken, sticky, took in the hole. Flagon, glass bottle, Oliphant, roasted, chicken wing, sticky apple, took in the hole, and Hobnanigans banquet recipe. Great. That gives us the consumables. This will be 60. And consumables. And what we're expecting is that is going to be each of these stencils. So a flower, butterfly, bee, feather star, sword, bow, pipe, white, red, Dorking, Scrapper, Blackfoot, and orange. I find it easier to get buried treasure tokens than I do Hobnanigans tokens. And so the fact that these are available for buried treasure tokens was really handy, I found. Your mileage may vary on that. Okay. So, easier than a spreadsheet? Maybe this time. But if we have to make more substantial changes to this, we'll be thinking about changing that up. Riverlyn has invoked the incentives command. Yes. If you are interested in getting some of the extra life incentives, you can open it up in the correct browser. There we go. You can find out more information about Extra Life here, including the incentives for doing so. When you donate money, go ahead and tell Cord that you have done so, and then depending on how much you have donated, 10, 20, 40, or 60, you're going to get picks from what's called the community loot list, which is this thing below. If you have any questions about what these things are, check on the LOTRO wiki. It usually has pretty good information. And then once you have donated to Extra Life, let Cord know by filling out this Survey Monkey link. Let them know how much you donated and what it is you're asking for. And if there's anything you're customizing, maybe you want 17 spirit bears, whatever, just type it in here. Here is my info, my requests, and Yeah, the bottom one here is just whatever you want to pass along. Use the top one for the customizing of your picks. In general, you're going to get a list of codes that correspond to the things that you have requested. So if you've asked for 17 Art Lover in-game titles, then you're going to get 17 codes that, when applied, grant the Art Lover title. There's information at the top and in the wiki about whether things are for a specific character or across your whole account. So read that in chat. Let me know if I didn't answer any of your questions, but that's what's up with Extra Life. Extra Life is trying to raise money for children's hospitals. The specific hospital the SSG team is targeting is the Boston Children's Hospital, but any children's hospital is a great place to give some money to. So if you have disposable income, if you're interested in some of these rewards, then check it out. It sounds like you may have already checked it out. That's awesome. Okay, so we have a barter window. The barter window should now be a little bit closer to what we're seeing here. So Sigter, if we go to the barter, Dowsing Gem, Train Cave Claw, and Map to the Treasure Field. Excuse me. Okay, and then we go to Maris. We have the medium cash rewards, the large cash rewards, the huge cash rewards, pets and decorations, imported Hobnanigans goods, recipes, imported Hobnanigans goods, and consumables, imported Hobnanigans goods. So, hopefully for people, Little Redhead was mentioning this earlier specifically, for people who are looking to use the barter item window, but it's a little bit confusing to look at, hopefully that makes it all a little bit easier. Awesome. So that's done. Let's go ahead and mark that off of the little list that I have for today. Barter items need categories. Done. Rich is broken in German, says Delirian. We will not stand for that. Let's go check out some LOTRO data. Delirian, how long ago was the update? How long ago did that break the German or change the German translation for pickaxe? Was that like recent or was that a few updates ago? If you're still around. Either way, I'm going to go ahead and update my LOTRO data repositories here in the background. Damien is doing an excellent job keeping it up to date and adding new features for LOTRO Companion. So Damien, if you're out there, awesome job. Thank you. Certainly makes my life as a plugin developer way easier. Wow. Okay. So there have been a lot of changes for LOTRO data, or my connection just got slow. Why not both? Okay. Okay, so what do we have? This thing is called a Treasure Hunter's Picks. Treasure Hunter's Pick. Really? There's a dash in Treasure Hunter, but inconsistently. Okay, is this the only one? There are possibly two. Fantastic. Tell you what. let's go ahead and check both of them. So for the first one, we can see these values. Oops. And for the second one, let's go ahead and find that one. I'm going to save this off here. Oh. Okay, so that's those, and in the, whoops, I'm not sure what I just clicked, but hopefully it's okay. And then the treasure hunters pick the other one. Let's see if that has a different translation. So we're going to find all the instances of that. Okay, so we can see the English one is the same, of course, definitionally. The French one is the same, and the German one is the same. So I don't know why there's two of them in the files. I don't know if they refer to different things, but if we're matching on strings, then good enough. So what we want to do is we want to come on into Rich and figure out where is it using treasure hunters pick, and can we fix that? Let's make this a little bit wider now that we're not doing a side-by-side. All right, treasure hunters pick. Wow, the French never was going to work. It says, you got 3K, you might mean 30K. Yeah, the SSG team, of which I am happy to be a supporter of, but I'm by no means the only person who was doing that. The SSG team definitely was able to raise a lovely amount of money for Children's Hospital. Oh, there it is, extralife.org/team. Cool. extralife.org/team/Standing Stone Games. So yes, Standing Stone Games got to raise $35,022 for Children's Hospitals. That's fantastic. Way to go, team. I was happy to be one of the behind-the-scenes person on the Extra Life game day. It is a lovely amount that they were able to raise, but definitely don't attribute it to me. There's lots of people who did a great job. Antol says, hello, hello. Oh, I think I may have just heard that someone did a donation. If so, that is fantastic. Thank you. Hello, Antol. Welcome in chat. Okay, so we have the pick, which is treasure hunter's pick and needs to be different things for different languages. Sorry, French people. So we're going to go ahead and fix that. In French, that is this. And in German, what'd they do? How'd they change it? All right, Telerian, I am curious because it looks correct in my version. So either I've already fixed it or something weird went on. I'm uncertain what's up with that. No, we can go ahead and fill in Russian while we're at it. Well, hey, let's just go ahead and do these in general while we're at it. All right, so trained K-claw cage. Let's find it. All right, so in Russian, that looks like this. In French, that looks like this. And in German, we already have a value, thanks to people like Telerian. Looks right to me. Okay, dowsing gem. Let's go ahead and find that. Not surprisingly, it's the next one. All right, there's the Russian. There is the French. And oh, I love German words sometimes. Wunschelhanger Edelstein. All right, fair enough. We have already checked the pick. Let's go ahead and do that. Buried treasure token. Let's go ahead and do a search for that. All right, we know it's this value. Let's go ahead and find that. Okay, good. German was already correct. It's fun seeing which things were already correct, and in this case, German all the way. Small treasure cache. Petite. And kleiner. Okay. Medium treasure cache, same thing. Find it in the English, grab the key, and find that key across all of the languages. I do have a tool that does this, so you don't have to do quite as much manual finding, but for just a few items like this, I'm a little lazy about firing it up. And the large treasure cache. Grande. Or Grand. And the German grosser. Alright. And then the huge treasure cache. Grossest. You're crunching behind me. I think a cat is snacking. Enorme for the French. And Reiziger. Really? That's traveler in Dutch. Fascinating. Okay, that is the treasure hunt itself. I don't think we're gonna find it in there, but let's take a look here. Quests. Okay, that's quests, yeah. And this, okay, both of them are quests. Let's take a look at that. Okay, in the German, we can see it's the same, so that's a pretty good sign that we've found the right thing. The chase of the treasure in the French. And the Russian string. Okay. And then berries. That's a quest name, it looks like. Let's take a look. All right. Beeren. Okay, good. Bye. Okay. New quest, treasure hunt. Let's go ahead and get the treasure hunt part of that. Now, for the Russian, I don't have easy access to the new quest prefix, but I do have that in other places. So, we're going to start with the translated version. Great. Oh, you know, that's funny. Of course, we already had that. So let's go ahead and pull that up. We can come into Festival Buddy and look for new quest. Great. And we can see that in the German we should expect neue Aufgabe. So we'll grab that. And we can see it already is neue Aufgabe. Excellent. So we're on the right track. And Novell, okay. And we can see that Visual Studio Code is highlighting here that there is a white character that is not that looks like a space but isn't the standard space. It's probably a non-breaking space character, allowing them to have a space between the word and the colon without the colon wrapping to the next line in cases where that might happen. It's unlikely to happen here when it's the beginning of the line, but make your chat window small enough maybe. So it's a non-breaking space. Yeah, non-breaking space is probably what it is. So we're just going to highlight over the whole thing, copy that, come on in for French, and new quest. There we go. And I assume I don't have it in Russian. I do not. Okay. That'll have to be good enough. Let's find a new round has begun. Okay. We may not have access to that. We'll do it without quotes. And then new round has. Okay, so we're going to need to look for those in a different place. Okay. But quest progression, we should be able to find that. Fantastic. There's a bunch of different possible keys. All right, this one seems to have been an outlier. So we'll go ahead and get rid of that. That gives us just the 6 remaining ones. Let's find the corresponding ones in English or French. And we're going to be looking for that basic format. And we're just doing this as a sanity check to make sure that these all look the same. So all of those are the same. Great. All of those are the same. All of these are definitionally the same. Same thing here. There are more. All right, we're going to exclude these. So we can kind of convince ourselves that it doesn't matter which one of these we do. There's no weirdness going on. Whoever says, so you are making plugins, that's crazy. Yep, that's the whole point of this stream of Plugin Along. Did I actually remember to update the stream title? I may have forgotten.
No, stream title's okay.
Hooray, I did update the stream title. I was in a rush when I was coming online. We're doing plugin development here. In this case, I'm modifying an existing plugin, which I find way easier than starting from scratch. So when there's a plugin that does something that I'm interested in, I start paying attention, and maybe I can change it. All right, so the French version of this, we can see, is this. The German version, we already have it, but we can double check that the spelling, the capitalization, all of that is correct. And we have the Russian as well. All right, so there's two of these that we need to do. Check this in German and French client. And that's going to be true for both of those. Loop says, I have a question. Is it possible to create a plugin to randomly choose a mount you have, and when you press a button to activate the plugin, it mounts on a random mount? It is possible to do something very close to what you're talking about. And in fact, there are plugins that do something like that. Let's come on into lotrointerface.com. I know there's a pets a plugin. I can't remember if there's a mount. Okay, so there's a pet plugin that lets you have a pet quick slot bar, so you just have a few of them. It's possible there's a version of this on LOTRO Interface. I haven't looked at all of these that, like Petstable here. Let's take a look. Nope. It is possible for the plugin, each time you activate a mount, to kind of, randomly select a different mount and have that be the icon. So the icon could keep changing for when you mount and when you stop. A problem with that I could see is what you'd actually want is to have a random one after the player unmounts, because you want that button to unmount. You can't mount a mount while you're mounted. And so maybe you're really comfortable with the dismount keyboard shortcut. That's what I use all the time. But no, so yes, it is possible to have such a plugin. I don't know if one currently exists. And I know there is a pets-focused plugin, but yes, it is quite possible to iterate through all the possible mount skills to know which one the player has available to them, and then just pick one of them randomly and have that be a button that is available for the pushing. I think all of those pieces are available. And if you're interested in trying it out yourself, I would start with maybe the Pets plugin. And the Pets plugin is going to probably be using the internal IDs of pets, but it might just be using the names of those pets. And either way, if you check out the LOTRO Companion data files, which is what I'm using over here to grab information, they will often have things like translations, which make life much easier. So if we were to come over here and look for this mount that I'm desperately trying to find, the Cave Claw Masked Pony, Cave Claw Masked, and do a search for that, we're going to see some variations on the string, because of course there's the horse and the pony. But then we can go ahead and say, okay, for this version, Cave Claw Masked Horse, what is that in other languages? We'll find it eventually. I really needed labels. There we go. So, what is this in other languages? So, in the English, no, we can see maybe I don't have the proper translations for that. Seems likely that there are translations, so I need to just update my files. Anyway, so if you have any experience working with plugins at all, then you might just swap out the data. So instead of a bunch of pets, it's a bunch of mounts. And then if it doesn't already have a randomness function to it, that might be more easy to add to an existing plugin and release it as a patch if you're looking to share that with the community, rather than trying to build a new plugin from the ground up and just say, hey, this is, well, I guess it'd be mounts instead of pets, so maybe it would be a brand new plugin. But you can definitely say, borrowed enthusiastically from this other plugin developer and just tweaked these things, and so it'll be very familiar to anyone using that other plugin. Okay. Where was I? Erdlun. Great. Love it. Okay, so end of the round, we need to check these in the clients. What else did we want to check while we're here? Those are not interacting. All right, these labels are just labels. Okay, all the stuff that's interacting with the game that we can sort of more programmatically grab, we've grabbed. Great. That should help with the German pickaxe problem for the next time. And I'll be able to check that against the code that Tellurian sent me for that. Okay, done with that. So, let's look at the actual map here. You know what? We've been waiting for a while. Let's go ahead and grab some more pickaxes. How do we grab pickaxes? In general, the most reliable way is complete these two quests at intervals of 15 minutes or more. You can wait. You'll get 2 pickaxes from the one, and you'll get 2 pickaxes and some other stuff from the other, if I remember it right. 2 pickaxes, trained at Cave Claw Cage, and a dowsing gem. Now, you cannot buy the pickaxes, but you can occasionally find them in dig sites or in the chests within dig sites. But pretty reliably, the only reliable way to get pickaxes is through these quests. I tend to overuse cave claws and dowsing gems because I can use my tokens to purchase more of them. And since I've got 3,123 buried treasure tokens, that's not the problem. The problem is I'm trying to find these stupid, huge treasure caches. I'm letting this one marinate in case that helps me get a cave claw. Yeah, treasure tokens, I find they just, for me, steadily increase as long as I'm behaving responsibly. So let's go out and grab some treasure from the field. And we'll reload the plugin here, just make sure we have any recent code changes. Okay, so what do we want to do? Let's go ahead and just get some of those more higher chance areas for our cave claw. Coming on over here, I'm going to go ahead and mark that I'm deploying a cave claw against this /LOC. Found a small, fantastic. Not going to bother with any of that. And coming on over to the next one. We'll go ahead and deploy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could probably get a 7th one, actually. Yeah, we'll try that. Also small. It's almost like someone's been through here and grabbed all the good stuff. In fact, we can see here, oh hey, someone else is active here. That's fantastic. The round just ended. So, when the round restarts, the map gets cleared automatically. Let's go ahead and put ourselves in position to deploy on these fresh dig sites. Skagosi says they found the huge one. Skagosi, are you on Treebeard? And yes, I hear that there was a donation to Extra Life. Thank you so much, whoever did that. I don't know that you're watching the stream, but if you are, it's worth pausing here. And oh, I just noticed my graphics are a little low. I've been staring at the code for so long. Let's go ahead and bump those up. Sorry, don't be sorry. It's awesome seeing people grabbing those huge ones. I just wish of the 122 that I had picked up, one of them had had the cave claw, the masked cave claw mount. But what are you gonna do? It's not a slot machine if there's always a chance of winning. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and deploy that cave claw. All right, that was a large one. Mark those. Other ones here could be a large one, but if all is going well, they're not going to be a huge one. I'm just going to wander up here on the trail. Since apparently I'm in competition with Kagosi, I'm going to go ahead and go for a closer area. We'll go ahead and deploy the cave claw here. What? That is quite the thing. Hey, it's a huge dig site. So, let's go see if I found 3 large before the huge. Yeah, it's that's what I'm saying. My goal is to not use pickaxes on things on smalls in general, unless I just am doing something weird. But I'll use a pickaxe on medium or above because in general that gets enough tokens to keep me afloat. But larger and huges are where it's at for me. So if I have a choice, I'm only burning my pickaxes on those. And if I run out of pickaxes that way, that's fine. But usually I do not. Okay, so we have deployed, found a huge one, fantastic. It's one of the reasons why I really like starting in this high density region of dig sites, because there's 81 that I have found. I haven't actually double checked the count here. It's possible there's 2 on top of each other, but I think there's 81 dig sites. So you're able to look at almost 10% of the dig sites just standing right here. And so it's it feels very satisfying when you're able to do that, when you're able to just deploy. But the numbers hold out why that's not a terrible chance. All right, that's a large one. That's fine. I have done like 2, maybe 3 in a row as sort of my maximum using that position. But in general, it's not that good. Usually I have to go further afield. Riva says, I got so lucky, got all 4 mounts in one day, almost. Yeah, I did that on a different character, but not on my completionist character. It's so frustrating. Little Redhead was streaming. Before me, and we were playing on a different server, Evernight, Laurel, and something. And I went out and was doing the treasure hunt and just came back loaded down with mounts. I had all of mine and extra for my alts and all sorts of things. Yeah. Okay, so we can see this was like an extra powerful cave claw because it went well outside the range that we think cave claws work under, which is very strange. I don't understand why that happens, but in general, cave claws are constrained to a 20-meter range. And we can see just standing here, this site is 15 meters away. The one up there is well beyond 20 meters. So I don't know what's up with that. Yeah, so that character just had all of their mounts. I got all 3 of the mounts that you can find. I completed the deed. It was great. And now on my completionist character, I have been completely failing. I get the other mounts from time to time, and I've got the 3 here to maybe succeed on. But yeah, 120, however many... 123 large chests. Oh, there's the huge. 124 large chests. And so far, all the ones I've opened, no cave claw pony. It's very sad. So I'm going to be releasing this so that other people can hopefully have a little bit of an overhead view of the dig sites. This will be valid as long as they don't change the location of the sites, which they could always do. But at the moment, SSG hopefully has other things on their mind, and we'll get some use out of this map before it changes, if it ever does. Okay, so we're back at the 8 hub. All right, we're going to deploy. It's a large? Awesome. I think this will be the last round, and then I'll go back to doing some coding. Let's go southwest this time. Why not? So there's a higher density patch down here. So depending on how you position yourself, we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there's another 2 down here, but you have to give up some to the north. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So assuming the circle is correct, that's the same density as the one in the middle. Just, doesn't feel like you're positioned as nicely. But got ourselves a large. And that one's gone. So whenever you do the /LOC, the dig sites that the plugin thinks you are in range for a cave claw, they're going to light up yellow. And you can see that. It's a subtle change, but maybe it helps kind of sort out whether you're close enough to a specific dig site or if you need to move a few pixels. All right. I'm feeling lucky about this set of 5, even though it's not the most efficient. Let's give it a try. I was about to say, it's almost never a good sign when the cave claw moves to the thing right next to you and it's like, oh, that was it. But it was a large, so that's not bad. Oftentimes when that happens, it's just like, it's all terrible. I'm just picking the closest. Maybe I'm misremembering how bad it is, but that's what it feels like. All right, let's come on down here to this set of maybe 7. Let's sketch around now. We'll just go ahead and get these 6. So tell the plugin that we're deploying the cave claw at our last /LOC. Coming in over, it's a medium, it's fine, whatever. And we can see the circles get colored based off the in-game rarity system, where we have we would use golden for the huge, but we don't bother marking that. Then we have teal, purple, and yellow. Well, so we go see if you're on here, you're not finding that huge one. There's a cat licking a dish, and I think we're worried it's going to fall off the counter. Okay, so what else do we have at our disposal? We have dowsing gems. Just make sure you stay clicked on the dig site the whole time you are dowsing. The douse fires off on whatever you're currently clicked on when the induction finishes, not on where you were when it started. Strong reading is the same as a large, so we're going to go ahead and dig that up. Oh, that's funny. I forgot to actually mark it when it deployed. Oh, that's sad. Oh, hey, we'll do it again. Deploy the cave claw. Taking a break waiting for pickaxes. I guess. All right, that was a medium. Let's see, pickaxes. I only have 88 pickaxes at the moment, so I can appreciate that. All right, let's come take a look at this one up here. It's by itself, so I'm just going to douse it. Very weak reading, so click it and move on. I mean, it's fine to take breaks to go see, but while I'm streaming? Come on. No, I appreciate the opportunity to be the one who finds the huge ones. I appreciate that. Okay, can I get that last ring? Yes. Okay, let's go ahead and deploy. And I like to just click on the cave claw and do /follow. I had that bound to a mouse command. Huge dig site. There we go. Which one is it? It's this one that's just on the border of that circle. Pretty good confirmation the circle's doing pretty good. I feel like every once in a while you release a critically succeeding version of a cave claw and it just has a bigger ring. I'm just going to have that be my mental model of how this works until proven otherwise, I guess. Because I don't understand it. Alright. I'm worried about what I'm going to find in these things, in that I think it's not going to be what I want. But let's go ahead and start opening. Alright, so we have large treasure caches. Nope. Medium treasure caches. Nope. Huge treasure caches. Okay, so 5 of them. Got the rich emote. 16 tokens. Rich emote, 12 tokens. And the rich emote. Never gonna get that mount. And a bunch of other tokens from the mediums and the larges and mediums. Alright, so got some cosmetics. Got 16 tokens for each of these rich emotes. Fantastic. Oh, there's a gem inspection. Alright. Well, so we go see. Thank you for crossing your fingers for me to find a treasure cache. Finding it's not the problem. Opening it and finding a cave claw, that's the problem. Actually, I should probably just switch to another character. I'm worried that my character, like in my character's data file somewhere, a bit has been flipped that says they don't need a cave claw mount. And I just need to switch to one of my other characters on the server, find it, and pass it back to my main or something, because my goodness. Okay, so what are we doing? Let's go ahead and tidy up the UI as it is. So a couple of things. The reset button is here on the main menu. I just tossed it out there. You can see it's at position 00 on the main window. Which is I need this to be somewhere. So, you know, after I've been testing and playing around and clicking things and dropping circles on the map, I can just come over here and say the map is reset. And it's definitely, I definitely want it to be there during debug mode. I have a couple of minds of whether it should be there during regular play, but I think it's probably a good idea until we incorporate that change that Clearin was talking about, where if you lose your buried treasure field buff, then it acts as if the round ends for the purpose of this map. But no, I mean, if you leave and you come back, I don't know. I want people to be able to like go visit Wenda and then come back to the field, and it won't automatically clear the things. But I think a reset button might make sense. Okay, I got that far away before I lost the buff. So it'll probably be somewhere on here, maybe in lower right or something. It'll be more than just capital reset. It'll be like reset map or clear map or something. Oh hey, I can get some free picks. Let's do it. And as I've mentioned, since this is the only way to get picks, short of buying them in the LOTRO store, and far be it from me to discourage people from spending their LOTRO points, but that is not a place that I choose to spend my LOTRO points. I really like ways that I can improve my character in meaningful ways, like emotes or milestone skills or bag capacity, and spending them on a consumable like a treasure pick, it's not for me. So for me, the most reliable way of getting the picks is through the quests. Alright, well, that's 5 out of 5 berries. Let's go back and then write some code. Fascinating. Our neighbor is drilling into the wall. It's a downside of having concrete or other stone walls between us and our neighbors is, you know, it's nice, it's good for insulation, but if they want to hang something up and they need to drill a hole into the wall, they're bringing out the hammer drill. And we do the same. Just try not to do it at midnight. Okay. Hello, Melo. Good luck. Okay. Let's talk about how we want this UI to look. Just going to use the snipping tool to grab this, stick it into MS Paint, a tool that I use much more often than I ever thought I would as a younger person. Okay, So we want to make some changes. Some ideas that I had are bring this down, go ahead and add a label, like a label of smaller text, cave claw results. All right, 12 then. And then maybe move this over. Move, not resize. Maybe move this over and add another one that is detect location. Really? Oh yeah, of course. Detect location. That's going to be /LOC. Deploy cave claw. I assume we don't see anything when we deploy the cave claw. I think we needed the player to use it. Hang on. The cooldown for cave claws does fire. I wonder if I can use a cave claw here. That is hilarious. You can use a cave claw in the camp, and it detects the huge site, and you cannot dig it. Fantastic. Well, that lets them use the same mechanism during the tutorial that Little Redhead went through earlier, I would imagine. But marking it so that dig site's only available if you have that quest, and then you can grab it. That's funny. I also noticed that I don't have very many cave claws. I'm fine having just 45 of them because the event's about to end. So I'm going to spend down cave claws and dowsing gems to 50 or below, so I have a single stack to store for later. Just because I don't want to consume too much space in my personal inventory for that. But treasure hunter picks, happy to stock up on those. I'll dedicate however much space. If you have 81 or more, you can dig up every dig site in a map if you need to, and you don't need to. Okay. So detect location, deploy cave claw, and mark. You know, I have cave claw results. Maybe record cave claw results. Not sure. And then we need a reset button somewhere. So reset map. And we can go ahead and just be slightly stylish. Come on over here and really go ahead and draw a little button boundary around those things that we think are going to be buttons. And that's sort of the new design that I'm thinking. And that's going to take that reset button off of here. It's going to move some stuff around. The reset's going here. We'll need a label, and we'll need the /LOC. Okay, so we need move the reset button. UI redesign. Move the reset button, add /LOC button. Move results buttons down, add a results label. I think that's the 4 things that I've talked about. And I don't think in the remaining time on this stream we're going to get to all of those things. I'll get started on them maybe. Maybe I'll just be tempted by the treasure field and go compete with Skagosi. But that's what's going to happen before the next treasure event. Is we're going to polish up this, probably incorporate Egg Arthur's patch changes so that we can show when we have easily show when we have more than 50 of a thing, more of the stacking size of a thing. Not actually sure how much the chests stack up to, but that may not be relevant for this. And then, yeah, release it in the interstitial time between this treasure chest, buried treasure event and the next, so that everyone's on the same footing for the next one. If you want to use the map just to know where things are, if you want to use the map in order to plan your strategy or to mark your successes or failures, that's great. I've even had thoughts in the far distance about a share button where you can share in Fellowship or say, or maybe even regional, a maybe a user chat actually. Keep it out, because it would look like gibberish. But an encoded string where other versions of the rich plugin could read that in and load in your progress and share it with, so that they could know which things you've dropped, what you've seen, which sites you've dug up. And I don't think that'd be useful in a competitive purpose, but sometimes I'm in there with kinship mates, with fellows. Sometimes I'm in there with Rose, and we're working. I mean, we each want the huge chest, right? But we're working in tandem. As long as one of us gets it, that's the point. As long as we keep it out of the hands of everyone else. But it doesn't really matter to us which one of us gets it. So a little share button where people could opt in. Maybe you have a white list of people for whom you'll accept their share information, something like that. But yeah, a little share button that lets you update your map. That seems really intriguing. I'm not sure how I would go about doing that, but it could be a thing. We've been playing a lot of Valheim recently, and when you get to an advanced enough point in the game, there's a map table, and so you can share your exploration of the fog of war and all of your marks on the map, and vice versa. You can pull in theirs, and I might take some inspiration from that. Yeah. I might be a sucker and go out on the field here. The good news is all of this can be tested at any time except for the actual interacting with the event stuff. So playing around with a map, making sure it works in various languages, that's all fine to do whenever. Changing the UI, you can do that anytime. But those things that require actually interacting with the state of the buried treasure event, those things you kind of have to wait for the event, and that doesn't come very often. Skagosi, you left a large one up here. Part of me is tempted to add some shortcuts for these items as well. So that you could deploy the cave claw, like have it deploy cave claw and then mark it right next to each other. I'm not entirely sure about that. It feels like there'd be some redundancies, and maybe some people don't even use this window. They want to do it from their inventory. But I'm having some temptations in that direction. All right, we're gonna do all of these. It's a large. Mark it. And that one is gone. All right. Yep, we'll go ahead and do a cave claw here. That's a medium. Oh, sure. We'll pick it up. And then there's two back here. We're just going to go ahead and douse those. As a general rule, if there's just not that many, the only advantage the cave claw has is that it's faster. It does all of them at once, assuming it's working correctly. Whereas the dowsing gem costs one token to buy instead of the 5 for a cave claw troll. So if time's not an issue, if I don't feel like I'm in strong competition, then it really, to me, just makes more sense to, if there's fewer than 5, or maybe fewer than 4, we'll go ahead and just douse my way through them instead of trying to cave claw them. Now, if tokens aren't a problem, and for me I've got several thousand right now, so I guess they're not, then yeah, you could use cave claws for all of them. not actually sure how well the cave cloud navigates around this rock. So I keep trying it out to see, like when it does that little spinny thing, I'm not convinced that it actually gave me a good reading over here. Maybe it did. I'm going to go ahead and douse it anyway, just to... Yep, it's very weak. Maybe it was fine, but anytime the cave cloud comes out and it kind of like spins around or goes in one direction and then changes directions, it feels like something strange is going on. And I trust the results less than otherwise. Huge! There we go. Narnar says, very cool. Yeah, I've been... This is an idea that's been coming along for a while now. So the map's working. The circles seem the right size, other than crit success cave claws. So this is gonna go out for general consumption. Is this thing bound to character? It's bound to me. Treasure tokens. It's always treasure tokens. Skiosi says, love the map feature. Yeah, I'm excited to share it. Okay, I'm going to look at source control and see what changes we've done and see if we can kind of break them out into some commits here. Make the working directory a little less chaotic. And then I think that'll bring us to the end of today's stream. So now's a great time if you have any last minute questions, comments, concerns. Start getting those into chat so we can look at them. Otherwise, we'll get to them next week. And then I'll be on vacation for a couple of weeks. And we'll pick it up in December, just in time for the Yule Festival. Okay. I've got 45 seconds until I can get 2 free picks by walking 10 meters, so I think we're going to do that. Hey, Melo. Did you level up? I thought you were 33 before. Might have. It goes fast. Let's see. Where's my cheer? Okay. Oh, for those curious, maybe you're not a big plugin person, or you just want to see this data. I did go ahead and load this map into the wiki. So if you search for, what is it, treasure event? I can't remember. Buried treasure event, which redirects to treasure hunt. If you go to the treasure hunt page, under dig sites, you'll just see this image there. So feel free to kind of plot out your favorite your favorite path through all the dig sites. But this is in the wiki now. It's as accurate as I have been able to make it, but there could always be errors with it. So watch out for that. But as far as I know, all the existing dig sites are there and in approximately the correct location. If you're looking for it, that is lotro-wiki.com/wiki/treasure_hunt is the URL. Hey, free pickaxes. Need a hobbit riddle about pickaxes. Rarer than gold, finer than wine. Digs in the ground some of the time. What will it find? Not a cave claw mount. Okay. We'll put that aside. That's not my... Aha! Here it is. Okay. So, other thing that I've been doing is transitioning my plugins to be at the plugin directory instead of the author directory for my source control. Haven't fixed that here, so Ignore all the things where it's like, you removed it. It's coming back. Don't worry about it. Okay, so enrich. Edit VS Code file. We're going to go ahead and... Huh. I have a feeling there's about to be a cat fight on Little Red Hood's desk. One cat is screaming the other right in front of her monitors, which are not that firmly attached to the desk. She's inching away from them. Okay, so edit VS Code file. Now, I can't remember if I am actually using these turbine files, so I'm probably going to want to commit them, but I'm going to hold off for right now. There's a to-do file here. Added a to-do file. That's fine. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and include today's notes, which I just had off in a separate text file. All right. To-do file changes. Great. Barter window. The barter window stuff, we should be able, barter and barter window, we should be able to do all of that in one go. So what we can see here is anything in blue is a, oh, Riverland says, how can you see if you donated to the right place? First of all, if you donated to anything Extra Life, that's totally fine. It doesn't have to be to the Standing Stone Games team or any specific streamer within the team. The point is to get money donated for children's hospitals. That is enough. If you donated to a team or a specific streamer, that's super awesome. We really thank you for it. It's great. It's really fun to be raising money. But to more specifically answer your question, in case you want to know, when you're looking at the team over at extralife.org, you can go down to the roster, and the donations for a specific person. Let's just look at Jerry, who is also Cordovan. He streams here on Fridays, and he actually worked for SSG. You can go to the donations tab, and then you can see a list in reverse chronological order, most recent first, of who donated. So whatever name you put in there, maybe you were anonymous, maybe not, you should see the information that corresponds to that. So if you think you donated to a specific streamer, like maybe MVP over here, just come into the donations and see, oh, okay, Erica donated to yesterday $40. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Erica. But maybe that's not you, so you would just be looking. So that's how you can tell if Extra Life thinks you donated towards a specific streamer. There might be ways to donate directly to a specific institution like Boston Children's Hospital on Extra Life. If there is, I'm not as familiar with that system. I'm always looking at the team and the roster and the streamers part of it. So if you did something a little bit different, maybe not. Also, Extra Life will send you an email receipt. That's both for your confirmation and in case it is useful for your taxes. If you're in the United States and you itemize your deductions, that could be a part of that. Okay, Revlin, I think it's saying donated to a Texas Children's Hospital. Fantastic. So but the main thing is you've got an email confirmation, so you know you donated the money, and then you can tell Cordovan, this is how much I donated on that survey. Awesome, you got the email? Perfect. Then it sounds like it went through. Cool. Well, while we wait for any more questions, let's look at the file comparison. If your file comparison, line by line, if the line's only different because of white space, usually spaces, tabs, then you can usually find a minor button, looks like this little tilde here, and just say, don't show me things that are only different because spaces have turned into tabs, or there's more or fewer of the spaces or tabs. Don't care about that. So we're going to turn off that, and we're just going to look at the actual changes. And here we can see the bit of code that we lifted out, which is a conditional. If we're dealing with divider 1 or divider 2, do something. Otherwise, do everything else that we did, and cool. That's a great change. We're going to take it. That's the barter win. And then in the barter itself, we can see a lot of the same things. If we really wanted to be cautious about this, we could come in and say, you know what, we don't actually care about the index changing. So let's make a new rule. Let's say this is unimportant. If it is, and then we need a digit. We need a numeric character. Let's remind ourselves how to do that. Actually, we just need characters. So, plus. Oh wait, no. Dot dot equals. This question mark is 0 1 time. 0 or 1 time. Man, I've got to relearn irregular expressions every time I look at them. What I really just want to do is, you know what, sure, we're going to do 1 dot and then another question mark dot equals this. Does it work? It did not. Oh, well, part of the problem is the numbers. Well, we're trying to make the numbers not matter. Of course. Fascinating. All right, it's definitely recognizing it. So sometimes I can get this to work really nicely, sometimes not. But there's ways to make it say, okay, we don't actually care about that part. Don't worry about it. It is kind of seeing that that's a minor detail, so we're most of the way there. But debugging this kind of thing live is a little bit tricky. So there is a way to say, I don't care about this part of the line. But looking through here, we can generally see that the only things that are highlighted in red in the text are the indices and the new stuff. So that is a pretty good sign that we didn't accidentally break anything that exists. We just changed those indices. And so that all looks great too. Okay. Updated barter window with dividers. Great. So is there anything else in here that we want to try to commit before added a bunch of map resources, sources. These are all files that are used to create other things, and some of them matter more than others, but I'm just going to go ahead and commit them all right now. So they are backed up somewhere. All right, general functions. I did want to double check and see, do we want to use this or something else, but I think it's going to be that. All right, definitely some globals stuff that we want to look at more closely. Now we can see callback and class are getting imported here. Okay, that's the map and the reset buttons. That's the map button. Oh, that's the actual circle that's on the map. Map button seems a little weird. Map window itself. What's going on with stats? That's just a blank line. Killing it. Oh, strings. Yeah. So a few of those are map related, but updated some French, German, and Russian strings. Cool. So after the new ones up here, we can see a bunch of updates there. And a couple of to-do items for new round has begun and ended, because otherwise that's not going to work in French. I assume the German one works, otherwise Florian might have said something. Okay, so we're going to get a lot of this, but not all of it. So we're going to get that, and then stage, 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 stage. Staging these things. Could select and do more in a single batch, but this is fine. And stage, and we'll hold off on the get string. Great. Timer. Okay, we're not quite ready for that. Cool. So that definitely helps clean up this working directory with unrelated changes to the map itself. And we'll push those out. Yeah, I need to split these repositories apart because it was a bad idea to put them all together in that way. But you got to try some things sometimes and try them out and then decide, oh no, that's terrible. And then you learn a lesson and you don't do that again. Okay, I'm going to visit some berries, and then I think we will come to an end. We're just over 2 hours in here, so that's some good timing. Nara says, thanks for the stream. You're very welcome. When a treasure event is actually active at the moment, selecting through it with the keyboard shortcut just doesn't work very well. It's easier to do a visual finding of the shrubs. But if you can get it between those two, Narnar has a quick question. Yeah, what's up? If you can get it between treasure events, then the only thing you can select is the shrubs. It gets really easy to find them or know that they're not nearby. Oh, I did say I was going to burn through some of these dowsing gems, didn't I? Okay, I'm going to burn through 18 of them. Well, Gunnar is typing a question. Okay. Strong reading, good enough. Oh, I need the pickaxes I just stored. Gunnar says, I'm trying to get started analyzing some existing plugins to understand the different approaches people use for custom hotkey bars. Okay. My favorite so far is tonic bars. Alright, as soon as I'm done with these dowsing gems, I might go look up tonic bars, because I haven't actually used that specific plugin. Though I feel like I've looked at it at least once. Very weak. Slight reading. No, I actually don't care about mediums right now. Question I have, starting out, is in regard to using a hotkey to bring up the bars on screen and they go back away when you release the key. Very cool feature, and I want to find the section of the code responsible. What a fantastic question. Slight reading. Nope, I decline. So, Learner says, looking in key events to start. Yeah. So the first thing I do when I'm looking at a plugin like that is make sure it's installed. So let's go ahead and use LOTRO Plugin Compendium to bring down tonic bars. Okay, tonic bars is not part of the LOTRO Plugin Compendium, so next thing, we go to lotrointerface.com. And we do a search. Tonic bars. Tonic. It is a LOTRO plugin, right? Mystic bars? It's definitely tonic bars. Well, do you mind tossing a link into the chat? It might squelch you. I can't remember how I permit you, but I'll be able to see it. Mystic Bars is formerly... Okay, so maybe someone's taken it over and has renamed it. Okay. The plugin formerly known as Tonic Bars. Okay, yeah, cool. Content is a bar, quick manner. Does that look like it looks like? Wow, that's a lot of bars. Okay, Canary says that's it. Cool, okay. Good to know. Super customizable. Well, let's get that installed. So, add new. Mystic Bars is in the system. So go ahead and get that added. We can see installation is complete. When you are already in LOTRO, remember to hit that green circle here to refresh, and then we can load Mystic Bars if we want to. And we can see stuff and things. Dissonance and stances has auto-loaded. Awesome. And there's an options. That's funny. So they have some easy ones here where they just... That's fun. What is going on with pets? I have more pets than that. Oh, it's okay. Skirmishes, mounts, that's fun. Okay, so we have this. And you said there was a keyboard shortcut that lets things show or not. Can you tell me what key you're pressing and what you see? Triggered when? Control Alt Shift. Okay, Shift is okay. Yeah. Okay. So I saw how it could do that. Cool. Okay. So next thing we'll do is we will fire up a new window for Visual Studio Code and go ahead and open that folder. So Documents, Lord of the Rings Online, Plugins, Mystic Bars. Good enough. Sure, they're great. So when I think receiving keyboard actions, I think we're probably hooking into a Turbine UI control event, and that event is probably I don't know, mouse down or something like that. But we're expecting it to come in as a Turbine UI LOTRO action. If it is an actual thing that you're triggering. And key down will tell us if Shift or Alt or Control are being held. So that can be useful for intercepting if you're just holding Shift and releasing and the thing shows up. In fact, let's double check that we can make this happen. Okay, so which one of these? That's Coda. We want to be triggered when Shift pressed. Okay. Well, maybe I don't understand it. So, coming into Mystic Bars, we're going to look for a key down event. And we have key events, awesome. And we have drag bar, awesome. Now you were saying, bring up the bars on screen and they go back away when you release the key. Very cool feature. I want to find the section of the code responsible. So one of these two is paying attention to the key being pressed. Now this one, this is drag bars, and we're looking for dragability and toggling the HUD. So this is just things like responding to F12. Okay, what's the other one? Key events, awesome. If args.action equals this, then it's alt. If it's this, then it's control. If it's this, then it's shift. Note that this is not actually correct. Or I should say, it is inherently suspect. What it's really doing is it's looking for the key mapping action that is commonly associated with these. And so if we go into quick slots, the quick bar 1 visibility by default is made visible if you hold down control. It's also visible in some other cases. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. So if we go into the quick slots and show. Let's go ahead and turn off the always show for these bars. Cool. Now if I hold down Control, Shift, or Alt, these bars show up. Cool. And what we're seeing with the key mapping is the visibility. Quick bar 1, 2, and 3. This is an action. Now it's a weird action because most actions fire when you do the thing. You know, I press C and my character screen opens up. These are firing when you press down your shift, and they unfire when you release your shift or your control or your alt. So if you're writing a plugin that cares about actions, you actually have to pay attention. Sometimes you have to pay attention to these to be like, oh no, I didn't actually care about that action. I was doing, golly, what was it? Probably Festival Buddy recently, and I wanted to detect some action key. Now I've completely forgotten. But I didn't actually want to detect these. I wanted to detect the first meaningful action key. Like, what key are you going to press? Oh, it's the birding plugin. I wanted to know what key do you press to activate your birding skill. Because hobbies aren't skills. They're a weird system. And so, but I discovered if the answer was, oh, I press Shift 1, then you have to ignore a Shift, Alt, and Control because they're not actually telling you the thing. They're just toggling that visibility. And what you probably want is the Shift 1, which is, quick slot number 13 or something. So keep that in the back of your brain nugget if you are ever dealing with detecting the next action. So what it's doing is taking, and so, yeah, turbine.ui.lotro.action.alt, and we know that alt is actually visibility. Okay, visibility, quick bar 2 visibility. So if we were to look at this number, we can see that is number 268435556. That's not the alt key. That is the quick bar 2 visibility key that just happens to be the alt key. So if you were to change this quick bar 2 visibility to tilde, for instance, then this is going to be paying attention to your tilde key, not your alt key. So that's an important thing to realize, is that either for simplification or through a slight misunderstanding, they have in the code called this out as the alt key. It's not it. But it is it in most cases for most people. So it can be, a bit of a gotcha. So these aren't alt, control, and shift. These map to quick bar visibility 1, 2, and 3. Not necessarily in that order. Control, alt, shift. Yeah. And then we also are checking for F12. Again, it's not F12. It's the hiding the HUD, which by default is F12. HUD, toggle HUD on and off. That's the action we're listening for by default F12. So don't take these comments as prescriptive. They're just the default out of the box key in order to get that action to trigger. Plugins don't get to know what keys you're pressing. Plugins get to know which key mapping you have triggered, and that's called an action. And you can find it in the API documentation under turbine.ui.lotro.action. These are the things your plugin can know were triggered. And there's a few extra things in there, but in general, it's this. So, like the escape key being pressed, that's an action. And you'll see a lot of plugins will just hard code these as integers. You don't have to do that. You can do turbine.ui.lotro.action.whatever escape. And that'll be a number. Or, I don't know, F12? Sure, F12. F12 is, oh, it doesn't have that one. Have to find it. Actually, the HUD one might not be in here, and so that one might be an explanation of why it'll often be. Oh, UI toggle. Let's do that one. UI toggle. Awesome. 268435635. Fantastic. So yeah, every entry here in the action enumeration should correspond to a entry in the key mapping user interface, which means a whole bunch of these are just your 60 quick slot, 72 quick slots, and a whole bunch of music notes, because you can bind all those to specific keys. Another thing to note is that plugins do not receive this action if the action is not bound to a key. Which maybe that is a straightforward thing to understand, but you will never, a plugin on my system will never receive the action for QuickSlot 60 because I don't have a key bound for it. That's another thing to just bear in mind, is you get to register for events that correspond to mapped quick slots. Key mappings. Okay, yeah, so in key events, we have here what they're describing as Alt, Control, and Shift, what we know of as quick bar visibility, and they are paying attention to those things. So they know Alt is down, Control is down, Shift is down. So that is where I would start to figure out, okay, what are they doing? Well, they're marking this flag as true, and they're marking changed as true. So where do we use Control is down? Where do we use Shift is down? What does change equal true do? So we can see there's 3 places where we use it, 1 place where we set it. To true, 1 place where we set it to nil. When the key is up. Awesome. And then okay, here's a place we're using it. Great. Here's another place. Oh, we're just checking it before. Okay. So these 3 are all about setting it. There's only 1 place that is paying attention to it. This is in the check visibility function. And in the check visibility function, we can see self registered events, Control is down. We're checking to see if that is not nil. And if the bar is paying attention to Control. And if that's the case, then it is visible. Otherwise, it is not visible. Okay. So, okay, Gnarnar is hopefully going to be able to run with that a little bit. Gnarnar says, this kind of explains why maybe the toolbars are finicky about changing the skills you put in them. That I can't speak to. Sometimes there's finickiness because plugins are, our best attempt to write good code, and sometimes it's finickiness because the API, the interface between us and the game, isn't as robust as we might want for a specific purpose. Who can say? But I do want to go back into my visibility. Oh, no, it's on quick slots. Always. Because I do always want those to be shown. It takes up some of the space that I find very aesthetically pleasing, but it also means I can go click my portents without causing problems. So your mileage may vary. Hey, it's a strong reading. I'll take it. Awesome. Well, what a great question, Gnarnar. Thanks for popping up with that. I'm glad it was one that I knew how to address. That's always nice. Don't dig that. That's a small. Very weak. All right. Off we go. This is one of those reasons why a buried treasure event can stretch on for a long time, because if people are primarily using dowsing rods and then not digging up their very weak readings, then these things just kind of persist on the map. They're not being cleared, and then the next person who's coming along has just a slightly worse time at it, because the good stuff, presumably, has been picked up, and the bad stuff is still there. So the good stuff is getting picked through each time. So if you come across a field that's been, picked over a couple times like this, it's going to feel like almost everything is the small except for the huge, because definitionally that hasn't been found yet. Let's see. That one's gone. So just a heads up for why it can feel like a buried treasure event is going on forever. Because this. Alright, awesome. Gnarnar says, appreciate the walkthrough very much. You are welcome. But it makes you that much happier when you strike gold. Yeah, there have been some times when I've been frustrated enough. It's late at night, there's few people doing the treasure event, that I'll just be like, you know what? I have 50 picks. I can just burn through this whole field if I need to. I can go ahead and use dowsing rods against everyone. I can mark them off on the map. I can do the whole thing and reassure myself that I will find it. But mostly I try not to do that, because picks are not a renewable resource except with these quests, and then you have to wait 15 minutes. So 4 picks every 15 minutes, that's 1 pick every 4 minutes. If you're using them more frequently than that, you're probably using them faster than you're getting them. So, awesome. Okay. So yeah, Mystic Bar's key events. Not Alt, not Control, not Shift. It's nitpicky. I don't know of anyone who changes those, and I'm sure there's probably some, but I would guess most people don't change their Alt, Control, and Shift binds. It looks like most people. I would guess most people don't change their F12 keyboard shortcut. But I do consolidate things together. Like, I don't know what the original keyboard shortcut is for hiding names above heads, or if that's bound. But because I'm usually hiding names because I'm also hiding the HUD, it is just, for me, it is Shift F12 to hide the names and then F12 to hide the HUD. Now, if you're going for a truly pristine picture, then you might also take advantage of the UI setting for overhead quest icons and overhead non-quest icons. And so you turn those off, you come on in, you turn off the names, for me, Shift F12, then you turn off the HUD, F12, and you get a nice clean shot for taking screenshots or video or whatever. I couldn't tell you what the default is for hide names, though. I've had that as an alternate for so long. I guess it's possible that's the original. Okay. What are you? Purchase treasure pick. Sure. Oh, it's N. Oh. Sorry, you typed N in chat. I didn't realize that was the answer. Just the letter N. Okay, so yeah, N for me was A, not memorable. I mean, yeah, names, but it didn't stick. Sometimes I would hit it accidentally, so it needed to go somewhere else. And since it was always conceptually tied together with hiding the HUD, just like, cool, F12, Shift F12. I can remember that. 1 pick for 50, 5 picks for 200. I will pass, but thank you for the offer. Awesome. Okay. Well, with that excellent question, thank you very much. No, says, I have this great habit where I start typing in chat, although my cursor is not in chat. Yeah. It's fair. It's a problem. In LOTRO, yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Okay. See, hit a million hotkeys. Yeah. I have that problem in multiple applications. It's like, where am I now? There's people who use the focus follows mouse cursor, where as your mouse cursor goes across the screen, the window under it receives keyboard focus automatically. Boggles my mind. I've never done that long enough to get used to it, but it feels like you bump the mouse and suddenly you're typing in a different window, and it's not for me. Maybe it's for like a trackball type person. I don't know. Okay, well, thank you very much, Narnar. It is bedtime here in the Netherlands, so that is everything we're going to need to cover today. Thank you all so much for joining me on this exploration of LOTRO plugins. I hope to see you all here next week, and until then, keep plugging along. All right, bye-bye now.